See Through It All's been doing great work finding all of these kosher clips, Rabbi Jay Dyer clips and edits. And it's funny, once all of these are coming to the surface, it's just been crickets from the Ortho Bros. They can't defend this. They got nothing to say. It's silenced them.
Gentile converts, anything more.
Rabbi, do you consider the church or mosque as a Noahide training facilities? How do you answer this question?
I would say, yes, there are a lot of things in the church that...
Who asked that question? This was on Adam King's live stream with this Israeli rabbi, Kabbalah rabbi. He asks, "Are churches and mosques Noahide training centers?" So it's one of our guys. And the rabbi goes, "Yeah, you could call it that." Total W.
Rabbi,
here.
do you consider the church or mosque as a Noahide training facilities? How do you answer this question?
I would say, yes, there are a lot of things in the church that promote the 7 Noahide laws. And you could say, if you want to look at it like that, it's a kind of a training situation that partially, to some degree, as if it were set up from above by providence.
A training program set up above by providence, by God.
I think it's a reasonable thing to say.
The Messiah will come and the worship of the God of the Jews will be made universal. Okay, well, how?
Oh, what? Hold on. We're all worshiping the God of the Jews? So all the Ortho Bros lying and calling me Jewish and calling us spiritual Jews for not believing in the King of the Jews, the Torah Davidic Messiah, Yeshua HaMashiach. They cope and they go, "We don't worship the Jewish God. God's not Jewish." We're not saying he's Jewish. We're saying only the Jews worshiped him for hundreds of years before Christianity. That's the difference. Listen to your guru. Oh, also the Spurgs online with their stupid cope that you believe the rabbis. You believe what the rabbis say about Jesus. The rabbis say Jesus was Jewish. Oh yeah, like the Christians don't. Like Jay Dyer doesn't.
The Messiah will come and the worship of the God of the Jews will be made universal. Okay, well, how could that happen?
The Messiah will come and all the Goyim are going to worship the God of the Jews, but it's not a conspiracy. It's real and cool. So kosher. This is how you have a YouTube channel and host the 4th hour of InfoWars for all of this kosher Torah shilling rhetoric.
The Messiah will come and the worship of the God of the Jews will be made universal. Okay, well, how could that happen if literally all aspects of the Mosaic Law were intended for the entire world? Obviously, it's not, and Jews don't even believe that. That's what I'm trying to say. And ironically, what's the Jewish answer? All the Noahide laws. Well, isn't it interesting that in Acts 15, that's what the Christians already chose to do?
You're Noahides! Even Jay Dyer, these clips that See Through It All has found, this is why he's scared to debate. I know all the things he's been saying, and it vindicates everything we've been saying. Every bit of it.
Apostles who were Jews chose to do that in Acts 15. In Acts 15.
He literally says the Christians are Noahides, just like the rabbis don't want you to convert and be Jews, but to create a new Noahide messianic religion for the Goy. It doesn't get more kosher than that, guys. Here's your Christian source. Anon. Here's your Christian source, losers.
If literally all aspects of the Mosaic Law.
Some idiot online was like, "Oh, you believe the rabbis and you just give the Jewish perspective," as if I don't show clips of Christians and read New Testament verses and Christian books about origins of Christianity. It's the worst, stupidest cope ever they can come up with. Nothing but fallacious, stupid shit that we've debunked a million times. Here's your Christian source here.
Were intended for the entire world. Obviously, it's not, and Jews don't even believe that. That's what I'm trying to say. And ironically, what's the Jewish answer? All the Noahide laws. Well, isn't it interesting that in Acts 15, that's what the Christians already chose to do? The apostles who were Jews chose to do that in Acts 15. In Acts 15, when the apostles are discussing
the apostles who were Jews,
means by which Gentiles would be brought into this very covenant that you see here in Jeremiah. It's on the basis of the requirements in the Noahic covenant. when the Jerusalem Council meets in Acts 15, they discuss.
He's literally saying the Jerusalem Council, James, Peter, decided with Paul to go teach the Noahide laws to the Gentiles. That's what Christianity, and then Maimonides will say Christianity and Islam preparing the world to be Noahides and the believe in the Messianic age. And they say, oh, you believe the rabbis. The Christians say the same thing. The secular scholars say the same thing. We see the prophecies. We see the New Testament of what happened. We see the rabbis bragging about it. We see the Christians are all kosher and serving Zion. It's an open shut case.
Look, if Noah could be made righteous without circumcision, because this is centuries prior to Abraham, thank you, then we ought not require of Gentile converts anything more than was required in the Noahic covenant. If Noah was righteous, then that's good enough.
Thanks, Noahide bros. Noahide bros. Jay Dyer. We should just, they're not ortho bros anymore. They're Jewish temple liturgy Noahide bros. Remember when the See Through It All clip when Sam Tripoli goes, so are you guys like Jews then? He goes like, yeah, well, like Paul says, we're like inward Jews with circumcised hearts.
That's the decision.
We're the true Israel. We're like the continuation of the temple and the Pharisees, like the true Pharisees.
Reframe of Acts 15, Council of Jerusalem, is to say not that circumcision is abolished, but that it's not required to become one of God's people. But once you are God's people, you should follow the law. And I know it sounds a little bit of like acrobatics, but that's...
Well, I mean, if you took maybe that in isolation from Acts, okay, maybe.
Noahide Trading Centers. Here's another one. See Through It All's just been pulling all of these gems. On this week's edition of Kosher Things, Jay Dyer says, quote, the intention of this religion to be universal. The Messiah will come and the worship of the God of the Jews will be made universal. That's the one we just heard. So
don't even understand the Jewish view of the law. Like, how am I supposed to... Even Jews understand that not every aspect of the law was for all of the Gentiles. So Hebrew roots people and other would-be objectors don't even understand the Jewish view of the law. Like, how am I supposed to keep land laws? Am I supposed to keep the Jubilee laws? This is crazy.
This is why Jay Dyer will debate no-name Muslims, any random nobody anon on his channels where he can mute him if he wants. But he's scared to actually address our arguments. He hasn't debunked or refuted one single thing. He just, anybody that's not, he likes to debate inside the Abrahamic echo chamber and have their Judeo-Messianic circle jerks where they debate the Muslims or they debate the Protestants or the Catholics. But anybody that isn't brainwashed by the overall prophecy con Judeo delusion, he just goes, oh, transcendental argument, and never actually debates anything else. Doesn't go past that. That's his cop-out. That's his defense mechanism. So they forfeit by not debating and by already destroying all of his other Christian friends. They have lost the debate. Jesus is fake and Jewish. End of story, period. Debate over. Case closed. Jesus is fake and Jewish.
Obviously, the intention for this religion to be universal, which is an intention. The Messiah will come and the worship of the God of the Jews will be made universal. Okay, well, how could that happen?
See, the Messiah comes and everybody will worship the God of the Jews. But when I say this, all of the ortho bros lie and attack me and call me Jewish. How about that? How's that, ortho bros?
If literally all aspects of the Mosaic...
Okay, we watched that. Let's see if there's... Hold on.
Goats ready because you're going to have to start doing some sacrifices.
Well, again, like, you know, you have all of these prophecies like among the nations, my name will be great, and my incense will be offered to my name among the Gentiles, right? Like the minor prophets. Those are clearly messianic prophecies that extend the altar and the incense and the priesthood outside of
that was the
limitations
plan
of physical Israel. How is that possible? Isaiah in 2 or 3 places.
How is that possible? Well, ancient Jews read those prophecies and said, how can we make this happen? How can we hasten this? How can we write up a story? Because a Messiah is not going to come and conquer the world by the sword. So how can they make up a story of a suffering Messiah who conquers the world through his teachings? The pen is mightier than the sword. That's what the ancient Jews realized. how could these prophecies be fulfilled if they're not real? Well, they've got prophecies and they try to fulfill them. They've got all the prophecies in the scriptures and they write a story that they're all fulfilled and then sell that con to the Gentiles. Gunshots in the vicinity of Trump, is that breaking news?
Gentile priests. How is that even possible? And so Bryson has actually missed the very point of the coming of the Messiah, which is to bring the Melchizedekian priesthood, which the author of Hebrews says very clearly in chapter 7 is superior to the Aaronic priesthood. So Bryson is actually just a retard.
In the pro-Mosaic side, you had Jesus followed the law. You had the early apostles, the disciples, the first generation of Christians seemingly followed the Mosaic law. And so, I don't know, I mean, do you think that...
I think that the letter of Hebrews solved this issue. I think that within the book of Acts itself, Paul had to struggle to really convince people, even like Peter, that his position was the correct one. God had to send Peter 3 visions about the food laws and that the dietary laws were not applicable to Gentiles and that they were symbolic.
You're trying to tell me Paul knew better than Peter when Peter is supposedly Jesus's best friend and right-hand man and the rock that he builds his church on, but Paul, who never knew Jesus, apparently knew better. Jesus never relayed the message to Peter, apparently, that he's supposed to eat with Gentiles.
And that's why throughout Paul's epistles, he's constantly having to stress this, whether it's Galatians, whether it's Hebrews.
And it's Acts is not historical either. It's complete bullshit.
Whether it's his arguments with Peter. No, this is not something that's, quote, settled by the 4th century Latin church fathers.